Hello everyone, I am Paplu, a PhD student of Robotics Research Lab, University of Kaiserslautern, Germany. Now I am going to present our accepted paper titled Utilizing Semantic and Contextual Information During Human-Robot Interaction. In this presentation, I will first discuss about the background and motivation for this work. There will be a detailed description of the proposed approach, and then we will discuss about the robot and the framework used for this implementation. Finally, there will be some experimental results and evolution of the system. Behavioral variability in human-human interaction is influenced by a lot of factors. For example, the semantics of the interlocutor speech, the contexts around a conversation, the sentiment, prosody, or even the paralinguistic cues inherent in the spoken words or in the text. This work incorporates contextual as well as semantic awareness for human-robot interaction. This also paves for verbal interaction modality with our existing vision-based non-verbal interaction system. This is the proposed system architecture. An interlocutor speech is first converted into textual format by an open source speech recognition system called Julius. Each utterance is analyzed by a sentiment analysis module. The next two modules extract relevant named entities, for example, name of a person, name of an organization, location, etc. If there exists any relationship between the entities, we can also flag this with this module. The last module extracts scenario-specific contextual information. The outputs of these modules are then integrated to our existing chatbot system, which generates the response for the robot. So sentiment levels trigger appropriate gestures and facial expressions out of the robot. Therefore, the overall robot's behavior consists of a speech coming out of the chatbot and gesture and facial expressions invoked by the sentiment level. We used an open source speech recognition system called Julius. The best feature of this recognition tool was the ability of the tool to recognize the microphones on the fly. We used in our experiments wireless microphones, and this tool basically takes the speech outcomes of the interaction partner and then recognizes. The recognition engine has basically a large language model and a linguistic model. This figure explains the overall overview of the recognition engine. It also has a two-pass recognition strategy, which the second pass of the recognition strategy utilizes deep neural networks. We use MIT IE information extraction toolkit for the recognition of named entities and binary relationship. We first tokenize and remove the stop words. For example, here we have an input sentence or the sentence delivered by the interaction partner or the human. And our NER model found out that John is a person and London is a location, and also there is a relationship between these two, which is place of birth. So here PRD is active and the number of entities detected here is 2. We assess the emotional states for the robot. First, we select features with the help of bag-of-words technique. The training set for our emotion model consists of emotion words and sentences from various sources. For example, here this is one of the many sources. The emotion labels consist of Ekman's 6 basic emotions, for example, happiness, sadness, surprise, fear, anger, disgust, etc. We utilized support vector machines in the classification process. We extracted contextual information, for example, local temperature, humidity, wind speed, etc. We also extracted weather conditions, for example, rainy, cloudy, sunny, or even if there is any thunderstorm, etc. Apart from that, we also kept track of the current system time, name of the day, name of the month, season, or even the year. For the technical implementation, we utilized curl C++ library as well as OpenWeatherMap API. We have an existing chatbot system which works as the robot's response generator. So the modules that I explained earlier are integrated with this chatbot system, which takes users' utterance as the input, and after a sequence of steps, this chatbot generates response for the robot. This is a rule-based chatbot that is highly influenced by the generation of keywords and matching the keywords. So the question is how we can generate robots' behavior out of the proposed system. We used an XML-based dialog manager that configures the speech for the robot that is coming out of the chatbot, and then output of the chatbot is dictated by the robot with the help of a speech synthesizer called a capella. Then we also set the sentiment level on the fly, and these sentiment levels trigger facial expressions as well as corresponding gestures or postures out of the robot. We utilized pseudo randomization technique in the selection of relevant behavior. Here, by the word behavior, I mean the speech of the robot, the facial expressions, as well as gestures and postures for the robot. We used a humanoid robot called Robin for our experimentation. The robot has 34 degrees of freedom in the whole body, and it also has a backlit projected face. There are some action units on the face, and the activation of the activation of a set of action units trigger an emotional expression, for example happiness, sadness, etc. There is a Kinect camera installed on the chest of the robot, which constitutes the major perception system of the robot. There is also a speech synthesizer which dictates the output of the chatbot, which delivers the output with a audio speaker, as can be seen here. We conducted several experiments in various scenarios. This is an instance of conversation. The graphical user interface here depicts the data flow. The utterance of the interlocutor is captured by a wireless microphone, which converts the speech into this text, how is the weather today, and the chatbot responds, I think we have a clear sky today and the temperature is 8 degrees Celsius. Here the clear sky is coming from the contextual information module, and 8 degrees also from the temperature. We also get an emotional state which is found out to be happiness, and based on this sentiment level the robot shows facial expression and a gesture. We conducted human-centered evaluation. The participants were mostly students and researchers of the university coming from diverse nationalities. They mostly took part in 2 scenarios, and we provided them with a questionnaire after their interaction with the robot. 82% of the interlocutors expressed that the robot's responses were context aware. However, 25% of the participants expressed that the robot's verbal responses were sometimes unrealistic, and this was because of the background noise. So this work ensures a higher level representation or higher level interpretation of robot directed speech. This definitely leads us towards more semantic and context aware human robot interaction. However, better noise cancellation during the speech recognition system could surely boost up the system. So as a future work, we can integrate better recognition system, and also we can integrate visual groundings and also paralinguistic cues in the existing system to make it much more robust. So thank you very much for your attention. If you have any question, please feel free to ask.